You got to keep them out.
Is that where it's going to be? Your laptop? Yes?
I think, well, no, Tamara's going to use her own laptop for actually running the thing. This is streaming, if I can get it set up.
No, but is that where the laptop streams from?
Well, if it works, then yeah. YouTube's changed all its rules about how to stream, so you now have to go through third-party software, which I'm struggling to connect, to be quite honest.
Are you doing it from your phone?
I can't. YouTube's changed its rules for how to do this stuff now, so it's I can't anymore. Do you know the password for MT Data Lab?
MT Data Lab? No, not off the top of my head.
That's Nathan's. So, do you know the password for info MT Data Lab?
Yeah, 1 second.
Do I need to get out for Craig's over?
Cheers.
This is on YouTube already.
Sorry?
You're currently live.
Really?
Yeah, we're watching you.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What,
Yeah.
even still now? What's the delay?
No delay, I don't know. I didn't have it.
I think there was a bit of a delay where it was.
If you're serious, it's currently live even now. Where are you watching it?
Alex had it on.
Yeah, it's here, look.
Oh, cool. All right. In that case, we're good to go. I thought it wasn't streaming.
Do you want me to email it to you?
Well, I don't need it now.
Alright.
If this is already connected, that's cool.
Oh, you can share.
We'll edit this bit out later.
Have you got a link box?
Actually, Yeah, email that to me anyway.
Yeah.
And if you go to YouTube, just log in as YouTube and then go, you know what, let me put this up there and then I'll come down and show you what to do. Hello.
Emily, do we have
Alex said he's going to come and introduce it.
who is?
Elliot.
Izzy, do you want me in? Or?
Yes, please. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, I forgot there's one of those. So I was going to accidentally stretch it across the people and I thought that's a bit rude.
Okay.
Kamala, can I zip in and out after my call? You won't find it distracting? Okay, or should I just join after the call?
Thank you.
Sorry, the next one. I could. I'm not sure if I had enough knowledge, but yeah, maybe.
You're going tomorrow, may as well just in.
Yeah, but now I do. That's what to do.
the end tomorrow so that I don't like bump into people before I leave.
You ready?
I think so, yeah.
Good. Feel free to come on through whenever you're ready. Anything else? Hello, how you doing? Good to see you again. What would everyone like? Tea, coffee?
Oh, I love tea, please. Tea, please.
We've got this new feature. This one's in there.
I didn't realise that. Yeah. Oh no, I still do the aircon. It's too warm. I didn't know that, so I just I'm sure it's fine. You can have this as well. It's not. I just bought it.
There as well.
Thank you.
I'll get you tea or coffee?
I'm good actually.
Oh, you did.
My own.
This sugar and this I'm not. Right, here's So we're still waiting for a couple of people, and I think Rosemary's going to join us as well. But
Yeah.
maybe just while we're waiting, should we sort of go around the table and introduce ourselves?
Yeah. I'm Tamara, I'm a PPC specialist, and I'll be going through about PPC today, what it is. Yeah.
My name is Joanna and I am e-commerce assistant for fashion designer.
I'm Ollie. I'm a SEO intern here at MintTwist. I just want to learn more about PPC.
I'm Rachel. I work at Goldsmiths, University of London. My boss is Tamara's brother. I do marketing for the academic departments. Don't know a massive amount about pay-per-click, but I get asked loads of questions about it. I'm a turn an expert now.
My name's Roshni. I also work at Goldsmiths in the same team as Rachel, and I'm digital marketing coordinator, so working on all the digital advertising for student recruitment.
Okay. My name's Elliot. I'm the director at MintTwist, and I'm very, very pleased to hand over to Tamara, who is one of the PPC specialists here at MintTwist, and is very, very knowledgeable indeed. But correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first workshop
This is
presentation.
my first workshop,
So
so
Tamara's meant.
please bear with me.
So we'll get going now, but just to point out, so this is being live streamed on YouTube. MintTwist has been experimenting with video for a while. It's a very limited following. There might be some people joining in, but really the benefit is if you do want to go back to something, you just go to MintTwist YouTube channel. It will just stay there. The way live streaming works is it just sits there for people to view.
Right, so
What did you want to do?
Can I have a
Of course, help yourself. Obviously, help yourself to anything, anyone. You know.
Thank you very much.
Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Please have a seat. No worries, have a seat there. We've sort of been around the table and introduced ourselves, and we're just about to get going. But maybe if you just let us know who you are and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Marie. I live in East London. I'm doing arts marketing at the moment. So.
Pleased to meet you.
Okay, so
we're MintTwist, and we were established in 2002. We're a full service agency, so we do search engine optimization, PPC and paid media advertising, as well as web design and web development. So a bit about me. I joined in 2018, I have an undergraduate degree in biology, Google Ad certified, and I manage ad budgets of 550,000 annually. So this is our agenda for today. So we'll go through what PPC is, the different types of campaigns, setting up a campaign, planning a campaign, the keywords, about Google Ad Rank and Quality Score, targeting capabilities, bid strategies, summary, and questions. So what is PPC and why do we use it? PPC stands for pay per click, and you only ever pay when someone clicks on your ad and visits through to your landing page. It's important to ensure that your ad copy is relevant, because the user will click through your ad if it relates to what they searched for, whereas if it's not relevant, then they're unlikely to click and land on your landing page. It's also based on a user's search intent, so it's all about what they're actively searching for or researching. So it's important that you're advertising what someone's looking for, so essentially answering a question or showing them what they want an answer for. It's also quick to implement on Google Ads, and you can get clear and concise reporting once a campaign has gone live through the platform almost instantly, and you can get daily data. So the main platforms are Google Ads, which is the largest search engine market, and then you also have Bing advertising. So it works in the same way as Google Ads. The only difference is that it's on Microsoft and Yahoo instead of the Google platform. It's also important that you use Bing advertising, because there's a large number of people who use that platform who aren't necessarily on the Google search engine. So if you don't use it, then you're missing out on large opportunities that you may not necessarily targeted before. The joy is that through Google Ads and Bing, you can actually import your Google campaigns, maintaining the same targeting, ad copy settings into the Bing ads, so you don't have to set up the same campaign twice. So now about the different campaign types, the setup and planning. So there are 5 different campaign types. First one being the search network, so that's what you see in Google when you type in a search query and the text ads come up, and these are placed alongside organic results. So they're very, they look very similar to a normal organic result, so they're used to reach customers who are interested in what you have to offer. You also have the display network, so that uses images as well as Gmail to run across different websites across the Google network platform. Then you have shopping campaigns, and that's good if you have products that you're selling, so physical products, and you can use that through Google shopping ads. The fourth type is a video campaign, which allows you to reach and engage with customers through YouTube and different websites on the Google platform. And the fifth type of campaign is an app campaign, which helps you drive the promotion of your apps through downloads or engagement. So how is your Google Ads account structured? It's structured into several campaigns, and within a campaign you'll have several ad groups, and in your ad groups you'll have your different ads and your keywords. So your ad groups are subcategories of your themes. So for example, if you're a women's shoe company, you have different shoes such as sandals, boots, high heels. So your different ad groups will be based on those themes. And then your ads will relate to the keywords that you're targeting on. And it's important to include the keywords within your ad groups, because without including them, then your ads won't run and they won't enter into the auction, and then you're not advertising to people. So, campaign process. First, you need to plan your campaign. So that's looking at who your audience is. What's your objective? Do you want to increase your sales? Do you want to increase the number of sign-ups? Or do you want to promote your brand to get it out there? Additionally, when planning your campaign, you need to determine, like, are you going to do remarketing, or are you going to just target on normal text ads? And then once
Sorry.
Yeah.
How did you how do you logically add groups again? Questions just coming.
You logically add groups based on themes. So you would group similar keywords together, such as women's sandals, and you would separate those from women's boots. And you separate them because if someone's looking for a heeled boot, they're not necessarily looking for a sandal, so then your ad group and the ads that show for that won't be relevant to the user, and they're not going to click through to your ad.
So if you've got product categories or service categories, that would be akin to an ad.
Yeah. So back to the process of a campaign. So you then define your audience. So what are their age? Are they an older audience or are they a younger audience? Are they female or male? Because females and males have different search and behaviour online. Are they often online in the morning or on their way to work or in the evening? And what is their behaviour online? Are they, sorry. Do they use one device, such as mobile, or are they across different devices? And then once you've defined your audience, you'll then also perform your keyword research. So that's based on what your objective is. And as I just mentioned, it's based on themes of what you offer, whether that's women's shoes or university courses, or such as like economics, maths, finance. You'd probably separate those out. And then once you've collated your keyword research, you'll then use that to write your ad copy. And to write ad copy, it's important that you include your keywords within it to make them highly relevant to what the user is searching for. Then once you've written your ads, you'll then push the campaign live. And as soon as you've pushed it live, you can then see and monitor and optimize the campaign throughout its duration. So this is an example of a text ad that you'll see in Google. So you'll first have your headlines, and you can have up to 3 headlines, all of which have a character limit of 30 characters. You'll then also have a display URL which sits beneath the headlines, and they have 2 paths, both of which are 15 characters long. And this essentially hides the final destination that you're sending the user to. You then also have your description, which is made up of 2 description lines, both of which are have a 90 character limit. And then you can also include additional information through the use of site ad extensions. Here you have a site link, a location extension, a call extension, and structured snippets. Additionally, on Google platforms, you can also have a responsive search ads. So they appear in the same way as an expanded text ad. The only difference is that you can include more headlines and up to 4 description lines. They still have the same character limits. So the way this works is that Google will test different combinations of the ad copy that you have provided, and it will determine which ad copy performs best and show the best performing combinations to a user. They can help increase your ad group performance and receive more clicks and conversions, because the different combinations can enter you into more auctions within Google. So that's how often your ad can then be eligible to be on a search query. And then that's unfortunately not available on Bing. So ad copy best practices. It's important that you highlight your unique selling points. So what differentiates you from your competitors, and why should a customer go with you instead of someone else? So this could be if you're ranked 7th in the UK for a certain degree, or you are a leading fashion brand agency. And then you should also include prices, promotions, and exclusives. This is particularly useful if you're a shop and you have products to sell and you want to promote a new item, or also if you have a new university course and you want to promote the new course itself. As mentioned, you should also include your keywords within the ad copy. This is to make it relevant to the search user, because if it isn't within the ad copy, they'll read it and they'll think, oh, this might not be relevant to what I've searched for, so they're unlikely to click through. You should also include correct title casing and grammar. Firstly, because an ad is representing your brand, so if it has poor grammar, then that doesn't create trust with the user. And then also title casing is where you capitalize certain words, but you don't capitalize articles such as a, and. You also don't capitalize conjunctions or prepositions. And using title casing is recommended rather than sentence casing because they've shown to lead to higher CTRs and click-through and conversions than sentence casing. You should also include a strong call to action, whether that's buy now, sign up, apply now. This also helps them determine what the action is that they're going to be carrying out when they land onto your website. You should also address your audience with addressing them through you and your, because this directs, because you're talking directly to the audience and it makes it more personal to them. You should also match the ad copy to the landing page because Google scans the content of your landing page to determine if what you're talking about is also similar to what you're talking about on the website. And if they're not matching, then that can later on waste your budget. And then finally, you should utilize your space. You're limited by certain character limits, so you have to be creative in what you're talking about. However, there are ways to get around this by using ad extensions, which I'll now talk about. So the first ad extension is a site link extension, and this allows you to link to additional pages in your website, and they often lead to a higher CTR. You can either have site links without a description, or you can include a description and they're known as an enhanced CTR. The benefit of a site link is that it allows people to click through to a landing page that is more direct to what they're searching for. So for example, the Nike running trainers one, the user might actually be searching for women's running wear rather than men's. So they can click straight through to the women's one, and that improves their user journey by removing steps within it. You also have call and location extensions, and a call extension allows you to include your phone number within the ad, and through that they can click directly on the number and be taken straight through to calling you. The benefit of this is that although it's not a direct conversion, you can still track the number of calls through the Google Ads platform. Additionally, you can also include a location extension, and that's really good if you have physical locations. And again, if they click on that, they're taken through to Google Maps and they can see where they are in relation to your location. However, for a location extension, you have to have a Google My Business account, which is then connected through to your Google Ads account. Another benefit of these extensions is that, again, it improves the user journey as they aren't having to research or go on to find the phone number as it's right there. The other extension is a call out extension. This is used to list short and sharp USPs, and they increase prominence and create user trust. They can help you highlight differentiators if you can't necessarily highlight them within the description lines of your text. And then you have structured snippets. So these highlight certain aspects of what you're advertising. So for example, if you're a hotel, you'll want to advertise the different amenities that you have. Or in this example, West Elm, which is a furniture shop, lists their different furniture styles. Other ad extensions are app extensions, which allows you to promote an app that you're promoting for downloads and engagement. You also have consumer ratings and seller ratings. Both of them are quite similar in what they are, and Google scans trusted review sites and automatically populates this information. However, for consumer ratings, it's only for certain industries and businesses, and for seller ratings, you have to have had at least 30 reviews of 40 plus over a year. Both of these also help create user trust with a user if you if they can see that you have a high consumer rating or seller rating, then they know that they can go with you to buy a product or a service. That was about text ads and ad extensions. Does anyone have any questions about those?
Is it like recommended to use as many extensions as is relevant? If you know what I mean to.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can, and you should utilize them.
Okay.
Because you can't fit all of the necessary information within the ad copy itself. So in order to make the most use of what you can advertise, you should use them. They're not all of them will be shown all the time because it depends on like your bid and the ad rank, which I'll explain later on. And the benefit is that an ad extension doesn't cost you anything. It's just an added bonus. You're still, if someone clicks on the ad extension rather than on the ad itself, you'd be charged for that click, but it's not that click plus the click. You're not charged twice.
Yeah.
So now I'll explain a bit about display network ads. So display network ads are advertised on the display network rather than the search network. And they're great for brand awareness as well as remarketing opportunities. So you can remarket to users who have been on your website before with a display ad, whether that's an image or a Gmail ad. And then this allows you to stay at the forefront of their mind. So they may have been on your website before, not converted, and then you want to try to convert them at a later point. They have higher traffic and lower CPCs, and however, they're sometimes shown next to sensitive material, which you may not want your brand to be, which you won't want your brand to be associated with. But unfortunately, you can't always control where your display ad is shown on the display network. Additionally, if you're using placements, you might get less targeted traffic as you're not being able to control who on the placement is seeing your ads. They might not fall within your target audience. So these are an example of the different display ad sizes, and it's recommended that you use at least 5 of the different sizes because the way it works is that a display ad, for example this leaderboard, will be shown on one website, but it might not be shown on another website due to the width of the page, and also it depends on what device you're using. So that leaderboard won't work well on a mobile device due to the smaller screen size, whereas one of the squares does. Having different sizes allows you to accommodate for the difference. You also have video ads, and this is through the YouTube platform. So this is great for brand awareness as you can reach as many people on the network as possible. However, they have a low engagement rate. They also have low cost per million impressions and a low cost per view. However, the majority of placements can be skipped. For example, the in-stream skippable ad, which you can skip after 5 seconds. So not everyone will stay to watch the entire video. You have different placements, such as the in-display ads, so those are ones that appear on the side of a video, or the in-stream skippable and non-skippable ones, which play before, during, or after a video. You can also have overlay ads, which appear during someone's video over the bottom. You can also have shoppable ads, which are good if you have products to sell to people, as they would pop up on the side with different items that you have. Not only are they available on the video bit itself, but you can also see ads when you search for a video on YouTube. So if you search for something and then you get a list of video suggestions, and above there you'll have ads. So these are examples of the video ads. So in the left one is a video of a skippable in-stream ad where you can skip after 5 seconds, and this one down below is the one where you can't skip it, and the one above is an in-display ad where an ad appears along the side of a video in the recommended section. So Gmail ads, that's a form of a display ad, and again you can use marketing opportunities here to advertise in their inbox. So these ads are shown in the promotions and social tabs of the inbox. However, you can only use Gmail as that's the Google platform. And you're only clicked once someone clicks through to the ad. You can also include images like this one and these examples, but you can include a video. So the ones on the left are ones that are on a desktop, and the ones on the right are the ones that are shown on a mobile. So the top two are what you'll first see, and they're a collapsed ad. And then if you click through, it will be an expanded version where the user will see the image that you've utilised. Does anyone have any questions about those types of ad formats?
You know the video ads for
Yeah.
YouTube? So you know you had the skippable ones and the non-skippable ones. So would you be able to choose which ones you want? Because wouldn't it make sense to go for the non-skippable ones, because then they have to watch through and they might actually click?
Yes, you can select them. Oh, not really considered this before, sorry.
Sorry, no, I was just wondering because I thought, as a marketer, it would make for the brand, it would make sense to go for one rather than the other if you can choose. I didn't know if you put a video up there, then you might get one or the other advertising the.
No, you can choose the ad format, and I think it would depend on how long you want your creative to be. So if like some advertisers have a creative that's 2 minutes, and then a user isn't going to want to watch that, so they might end up exiting the video itself anyway. You can't guarantee that they're going to watch the entire ad. And also, even though they can skip after 5 seconds, they've still seen your brand, and it's still there. So you're still reaching a large audience, whether they skip it or not. You can't really control that part.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do they, after if they skip it, do you not pay for that ad? You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
No, because they have.
Yeah.
Only
Is it
if
not
you
once
click-
it starts loading, or you're not charged?
I think when they click,
Magic.
because with the ad you can have you have a button that they can click, and you add your destination URL. I think you'll then charge if they click that, and then taken directly through to your website. Whereas if you're charged for people skipping the ad, thousands of people skip ads every day on YouTube. That's going to waste your budget, and you're going to end up not actually getting people to come. But so you have, is that all the questions? So you have different goals depending on what your objective is. So if you have a clothes business, then you'll want to select sales. This can help you drive the number of sales online, in store, on an app, or by phone. You can also select leads, so this helps you collect and generate customer data, which you can then use for conversions and encouraging them to carry out an action at a later point. Or you can select website traffic, so this is used to drive people straight to your landing page and get as many people landing on there as possible. You also have product and brand consideration, so that's to encourage people to explore your products who aren't necessarily actively searching for it. And then you have brand awareness, which is similar to the product and brand consideration, but you're building an awareness about who you are. Rather than promoting a certain product, you're there to be at the front of their searches. And then you also have app promotion, which is to drive the promotion of downloads and sales and engagement of your apps. So it's important to optimize your campaigns as they're running. So these are key optimization tactics. So you can pause and add keywords. So you can add additional keywords that you can see in the search term report that Google provides that are relevant to what you're advertising. Within the search report, you can also add negative keywords that have triggered your ad to have shown but aren't relevant. And you can also pause keywords that are potentially wasting your budget, that aren't profitable and driving conversions but still using the money. It's also important that you rotate ad copy, so you should analyse what ad copy is performing best, whether they have a high click-through rate, conversions, the CPC, and then you'll utilize the aspects of the best performing ads to create new ads that you can then add to the campaign. You should also analyze the ad schedule and device used, as this can help you determine if one device or a certain hour of the day or a day of the week is more profitable. And if they aren't, then you'll probably want to turn those off, as you don't want to waste your money. You can also increase and decrease your bids. So if this, you can add a bid adjustment where you can increase the bid. So if one keyword, or say a location, is more profitable, then you can add a 10% increase to the bid, and that will mean that you'll pay 10% extra on what you're already paying. This helps you and try to win the auction more. However, you can also decrease the bid, where if you still want to target something, but it's not necessarily bringing in the conversions or it's not as profitable, you can decrease the bid. So you can decrease it by 10% or 5%, however, and then you'll pay that percentage less than what your bid is set to.
So tomorrow, there's a question on ad copy. How closely does the copy need to reflect the keywords that you're promoting, or not?
You should reflect, the ad copy should reflect the keywords you're targeting. So you can include the keyword in the headline, which we would recommend, and you can also include it in the description line. That's because when someone searches a search term, let's say woman's boots, and then when they search for it, Google will make bold that search query within your ad copy, and then they can easily identify that your ad copy directly relates to what they've searched for. So
yeah. So at the risk of getting too technical, does the quality score go up if you've got keywords in your own copy?
Yes, and I will come on to the
Okay.
quality score. Going ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, the quality score, yeah. You're essentially having them relate improves your quality score. So, about keywords. Keywords are fundamental and are the foundation of any PPC campaign. They are what triggers your ad to be shown, and they are what a user searches for and is actively looking for. So your keyword research is based on the products and services you offer, whether that's different clothing items or different degrees or university related events. To do your keyword research, you can use the Google Ads Keyword Planner, where you can see the search volume, estimated cost per click, and competition. It's important to look at these three things because you might be within an extremely competitive market where the estimated cost per click is high and the competition is also high, which helps you understand whether or not your budget that you've allocated is going to be limited or will be sufficient enough to target the number of clicks and conversions you're after. You can then create a plan using these keywords, and you'll group them into themes, which will then make up your ad groups.
Is there like a Bing version for like keyword planner or not really?
Not.
No. Would you use
Bing, you can use the same keywords
yeah.
that you're using for Google Ads in Bing. So the Google Ads Keyword Planner, this allows you to either enter a URL and or 10 keywords that you think are related to what you're advertising, and then it will give you a list of similar keywords and keywords that they think relates to what the content on your landing page is about. And then you can use these to create your campaign and your ad groups. So you have different keyword match types. the first one being broad match, so that's the default in Google Ads. So for example, you'll have women's searches and then women's hats, and then example searches would be women's clothing or buy ladies hats. And broad match allows you to target as many people as possible, as there's no control over what triggers your ad. However, to add more control over what triggers your ad to be shown, you can use broad match modified. So this is where you include a plus sign in front of a word that you want to be included in the user's search query. So a search has to include the words that have a plus sign in front, but it can also include words before, during, or after those words. And they still reaches a broad audience, but you have more control over what's triggering ads to show. And then the third type of match type is the phrase match. So this is indicated by the quotation marks, and the words that have quotation marks are the ones they have to appear in the search query in the exact order, but you can have a word before or after those words. And then you have exact match, and this is where you have the square brackets, and the search query has to match exactly as the words within the square brackets. However, Google recognizes that some search terms will still have the same intent as what as your keyword, but isn't necessarily exactly that. So women's hats, a search query can still be ladies' hats, as Google recognizes that someone searching for a lady's hat is still in the market for women's hats. And with exact match, that gives you the most control over what your ad triggers for. And then there's a fifth type of keyword match type, and that's negative keywords. So it's extremely important to add negative keywords to your campaign. You should add general negative keywords when setting up the campaign, and these can be things such as job, career, salary, free, online, distance, apprenticeships, because they will draw in unqualified and irrelevant traffic to your campaign and potentially waste your budget. So by having negative keywords, you can then effectively protect the amount, effectively prevent your budget from being wasted. So for example, if you're a university advertising an undergraduate course, you'll want to have postgraduate related keywords as a negative, because it also the people searching for a postgraduate course aren't within your audience, so they're irrelevant. So that was about keywords. Does anyone have any questions about those? Okay. So, about Google Ad Rank and Quality Score. So, your ad rank determines what position you will be in Google and if your ad is shown at all from the auction. So, through there, you can calculate your ad rank, which is determined by the maximum bid you're paying and the quality score you receive. And this helps determine what actual cost per click you're going to pay. So the cost per click you'll actually pay is determined by the ad rank of the person below you, your quality divided by your quality score plus 1p. So your ad rank is calculated for every auction that Google has, and they run throughout the day. And the auction works by a user searches a query, and then Google scans what an advertiser is talking about and the keywords they're targeting, and puts those ads and the keywords into the auction, and then it determines, based on the maximum bid and your quality score, if you have a high ad rank or a low ad rank. And then the higher ad rank you have, the higher position you'll be in Google, and the lower ad rank, the lower position you'll be in Google. So you'll want a higher ad rank to improve your chances of being shown higher up, like potentially the first page, because if you have a lower ad rank, then you might be shown on pages after the first page, and you might miss out on potential customers, as not everyone will search through several pages. So what is quality score and what affects it? The quality score is a rating assigned by Google of between 1 to 10, and your keywords and your ads get assigned a quality score. And the quality score determines the effectiveness and the cost of your campaigns. So the higher the quality score, the lower your CPC will be. Your quality score is affected by your ad relevance and keyword relevancy. So it's important that your ad and your keywords relate to each other and is relevant to what the user is searching for. If you have an ad and if you're advertising for an undergraduate course and your keywords are postgraduate, then the quality score will be low because they aren't related to what the searcher is looking for. Additionally, the expected CTR, so what Google calculates as a click-through rate of your ad, determines the quality score. So for example, if your ad is shown in the first position for 100 days and no one clicks on your ad, then you'll have a lower click-through rate and Google will see that as not being relevant to your user. And then the landing page is also important. So again, Google scans the ad copy on that, and then it determines if your ad copy for your PPC ad relates to the content on your landing page. It's also important that you have fast load times and that your landing page is easy to navigate, because these also affect the quality score, as Google understands that this impacts their user experience, and if it takes a long time to load, then they aren't going to achieve what they want. Your historical performance of your account also impacts the quality score. If you often have low quality scores, then Google will take that into account and understand that your campaigns aren't necessarily going to be of what the user wants. So it's important that your campaigns maintain a high quality score to ensure that that doesn't affect it.
Is there any way you can find out your quality score? Is it just sort of...
You can. So
okay.
in Google Ads, you can filter by columns, and you can add quality score as a column, and you can see it for keywords. So for the keywords, it will say 1 out of 10, and then for ad groups, it will give you a quality. It will say above average, below average, or average. And if it's below average, then you'll know it's a low quality score. Average, it's around like 5, and then if it's above average, it'll be higher. So your quality, how does it impact your CPC? If you have a quality score of between 1 and 6, you'll end up paying a high amount for your cost for a click. Whereas if you have a quality score of between 7 and 10, you'll be rewarded for having a higher quality score, and you'll end up saving more money and your budget can go further. So does anyone have any questions about that? So I'll move on to the different campaign targeting capabilities now. So first of all, you have your audience targeting, and this is an affinity audience. So this allows you to reach customers who, based on their lifestyles, passions and habits, who have expressed an interest in a certain topic, and then you can target the topic that they're interested in. You also have customer match, and this is where you can upload a customer list to Google, and they can target people within your customer list. Customer match also allows you to target people who show similar behaviours to those in your customer list who aren't existing customers of yours. So that allows you to increase and expand the potential reach to new customers. You also have custom intent, and this is used on display and video campaigns, where you can target keywords and phrases to people who are likely to be searching for those. We also have similar audiences, where you can target people who relate to the people in your remarketing lists. So they're not necessarily in your remarketing lists, but they show the same behaviours as them. You also have in-market audiences, and these are people who are actively searching for your product or service, but they haven't been on your website before. And then you have remarketing audiences, and these are people who have landed on your website before, but they haven't necessarily completed an action, and you'll want to retarget them so that they can convert at a later point and you can push them back into the funnel. On display, you can also target by content, so you can target by topics, for example, art or news, business, football, etc. And then Google will scan different websites and put them into different themes based on these topics. And then your display ads can be shown on those websites. You also have placements, and this allows you to target specific websites or YouTube videos or YouTube channels, and you can select specific ones that you want to select, or you can leave it open and Google will determine where they're shown, and it will show them on a variety of places. You can also target by keywords that are relevant to what you're advertising for, and for triggers, so targeting users who are also searching for the same keyword. You can also target by demographics and life events. So demographics include age and gender, so if they're female, male, older, younger. You can also target by household income, as well as parental status, so if they're a parent or not a parent. You can also target by life event targeting, so when someone has reached an important milestone in their life, such as moving house or home renovation or marriage or changing jobs. And life event targeting is based on what a user has historically searched for and their lifestyle habits.
Is it also based on Gmail? Is it true that Google can use a Gmail?
Yeah, Google searches through like what keywords are found within your on the display network. So the display network is display ads and Gmail ads. So it'll scan the content within those, and then it can advertise to you if the content in your Gmail matches the keywords.
Yeah. So is that life event targeting is if you're writing about I'm moving house and stuff like that on emails, that's how
Yeah.
it's pulling that information out.
Sounds really creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like if you've searched on Google for moving
And
house.
if you search for it, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about like your search history and behaviour and what you've expressed an interest in previously.
So presumably it's AI doing that. Well.
Yeah, it's through machine learning and an algorithm, a Google algorithm. And then you also have 4 devices, that's TV, desktop, laptop, tablets and mobiles. We suggest targeting all of them because the user journey isn't linear. They have different touch points. They could have seen your ad on a desktop and then later on their mobile device. So you don't want to be missing out on people across the difference. And also certain audiences will use different devices. So younger people are more likely to use a mobile device than older people. And then it also depends on the time of day, where they are and what they're doing. You can also target by languages. So you will want your ads to be shown to people who understand what the ad is about. So if your ad is in English, you'll want your ad to be shown to people whose search engine and settings are in English. You can also target one language, multiple languages, or all. But Google doesn't translate your ads, so you don't want to select all languages if you're just having one, if you're just writing in one. So you have to bear that in mind. And then you can also target by location. So you need to consider where your audience is. If you have physical locations, you want to target those around those physical locations. Whereas if you're online, you'll probably want to identify where your customers are based around the world and target those locations. You're able to target by postcodes, regions, countries, cities, or radius around a specific location. Again, you can add bid modifiers for locations, so if one bid location is more profitable, will increase your bid, vice versa. But ultimately, with location targeting, it's the balance between quality and quantity. So one location might get you a higher number of clicks, but they might not necessarily be of a good quality. For example, in India, you have a large number of people online who are searching for things and clicking ads, but is the quality necessarily that high? So you have to determine what you want to target. And then you can also schedule your ads. You can either do that by selecting certain hours of the day or running them all the time, or you can select certain days. And this is important if you have a physical location with set opening hours, because there's no point in running your ads with a call, especially a call extension, if it's closed at 5:30 and no one's there to answer the call, because then you can lose out on a potential conversion and customer. You don't want to waste the budget that way. And then your budget, so that's set at the campaign level, and you can either set individual campaign budgets or you can create a shared budget. For a shared budget, that's useful if you have many campaigns with a smaller budget, and if the budget is too small to be split across the individual campaigns, then you're unlikely to get a lot of clicks. Whereas if you have 10 campaigns and a shared budget, then Google determines and works out the budget split and like how much should be spent on them. So that's through their algorithm, and then it tries to spend it evenly so you're not wasting it all. You can also only set a daily budget on Google, so it's important that you constantly monitor this so that you don't go over your total ad budget, especially because Google can spend a certain amount more each, like 0.4 each month, so then you have to take that into account. So a way to get around that is by, for example, taking off 20% off the daily budget to prevent it from going over. And then for YouTube, however, that's set as a total budget. I'm not sure why that's set as a total budget, that's just Google. And then you have different rotation methods. So you can either allow your ads to be optimized by Google, so they will determine and calculate which ads are going to perform better than others in your campaign, and they will put the best performing ones into the auction, and they're most likely to be shown to a user. Alternatively, you can either have your ads rotating indefinitely, where all of the ads, whether they're best performing or not, are distributed evenly into the auction, and you have no control over what one is shown to a user. So that ultimately is up to that's down to you whether or not you want to optimize or rotate indefinitely, because some ads might contain certain information you'll definitely want to be shown. Does anyone have any questions about those? Okay, so now we're going on to the bid strategies. So, first one is an enhanced CPC, and that's where Google will spontaneously and automatically raise the bid if it thinks that the user is going to convert. However, it will also decrease the bid if it thinks that a user is unlikely to convert and prevents you from essentially wasting your budget. You can also set a maximum bid, and Google will keep the maximum bid at that, but then, like I said, it will increase it slightly or decrease it slightly. You also have manual CPC, and this is where you control the maximum bid you set for a keyword that you are willing to spend. So you can either, your keywords can have individual manual maximum bids, or you can have them all set as the same maximum bid. You also have maximize clicks, and this is where Google automates the cost per click based on the number of clicks you can get within your budget. And you have maximize conversions, which works in the same way as maximize clicks, but it gets the most out of your budget to get as many conversions as possible. You also have target CPA, and that's target cost per action, where it's another automated one where Google will set the bid to maximize at the target cost per acquisition you're willing to pay. So with target CPA, Google uses historical information based on how much it has cost you in the past for an acquisition, and it will recommend you a bid that you can set that as, or you can leave it to Google's discretion to determine it. And then the last one is target return on ad spend. So this helps you get more conversion value and revenue for the target return on ad spend that you've selected. and Google will predict future conversion values using historical conversion values and a conversion value that you've set, and then it will try to achieve that, and it will try to achieve the return on ad spend that you've inputted to help reach your target. So, summary. It's important to always check your campaign performance to identify where you can improve your campaigns, whether that's through keywords or ad copy. You should also check it to check that you're not wasting your budget and that budget isn't being spent ridiculously and without reaching your target. You should also test ads and targeting. You need to create relevancy in your ad groups, ad copy and keywords. You have to optimize all the time, and don't forget to use Bing, because again, you're going to lose all your audience. You can lose a large number of people on that by not using it. So that's that. Does anyone have any questions?
Are there types of campaigns where you can do cost per impressions rather than cost per clicks?
Oh.
Because I would have thought that might be better for brand awareness if you're just trying to get it in front of as many people as possible.
Well, you would select your campaign objective first. So you would select brand awareness first, and then you can select your bidding strategies, but Google will use that information to reach a high number of impressions as possible. So even though it would be on cost per click, there's no cost per impression. It's all about cost per click. But you can use brand awareness campaign settings to reach as many people as possible. You're just paying for their click rather than the number of impressions. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also, I think, to be fair, if you brand awareness is what you're interested in, depending on where you're coming from. If you're a big brand, you would buy your branded keywords, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Even though you would rank traditionally number one for them organically. So big brands want to own. If you're Nike, for example, you want to be owning the paid link as well as the other link.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can target your branded keywords within your campaign.
Yeah. Traditionally, most clients are interested in non-branded keywords, so sportswear company as opposed to Nike shoes. But if you are a brand and you're interested in brand awareness, you buy branded keywords.
Yeah.
It leads me to a question. Would you advise clients who are competitors with each other to buy other competitors' branded keywords? So if you're Goldsmiths University, would you buy, UEL University as a keyword, as a branded keyword?
Yeah, you should target on competitor keywords, because if they're in the same industry, like Goldsmiths and another university, the people searching for the competitor are still within your target audience. So they might not necessarily have considered you before, but if they see an ad through their research, they'll then be able to add it to their research and come back to it at a later date and think, do more research about you, even though you're not necessarily what they originally targeted what they were originally searching for in the first place.
So from a technical perspective, you advise it. From a kind of ethical perspective, because marketers that I speak to sometimes are nervous about doing that because they don't want to be seen to sort of start a battle with competitors where there wasn't one before.
Yeah.
I guess it's
down to you and what you want to achieve, but they are still your target audience.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and if someone else could be competing on your term, which so you have to compete with competitors in order to stay relevant. But a key thing about targeting competitor keywords is that you can't mention them in the ad copy, because then that is infringing on their copyright on Google and you will be flagged. So you can only target their keywords, you can't actually mention them. Otherwise, they can take you to court and be like, yeah, no, that's not correct. And then also it doesn't relate to what you're sending them to on your landing page. So that's important.
You could potentially be wasting budget as well by putting your competitors in, right?
Yeah.
There's
But
like
you
a
would,
risk.
you could have them as a, so you can have it as an ad group, and then
Yeah.
with it, so you'd have several ad groups. So it could be branded, generic,
Mhm.
and competitors, and then you would set your budget on a campaign level, and then depending on if people, so you'll only pay for a click, so you're not
Yeah.
essentially wasting budget
No.
because
Okay, yeah.
You're
yeah.
not-
Because
It's
it's
only
reactive,
if they
it's,
click
it's,
Yeah.
the search has been initiated by the user. So if we decided that we've got an English literature offering that's going to be relevant for students that might otherwise go for UCL English literature, students searching for
Yeah.
that, your copy probably wouldn't say, you can't say you're
Yeah.
UCL, but you say we've got a great alternative to UCL.
So you
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
say
cool.
you in the copy.
Sorry,
Sure.
we've got a great offering
yeah,
for English literature students.
Yeah.
And that would be the angle. So it would be like a legitimate message, really. You're not pretending to be a competitor. You're saying that you've got an offering for potentials of that competitor.
Funny you mentioned English.
But then could you add UCL into the keywords so that people searching for UCL might stumble across your university instead?
But that's the point.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. So that's what Tamara is saying. You would target
Okay.
UCL plus English or whatever.
Could that lower? Oh, sorry.
And go on.
Oh, could that lower your quality score because you're not using, you're using different keywords than in your copy, maybe.
yes, that could impact your quality score, but it's also one ad group within your campaign.
Yeah.
So you have
Right.
other ad
Okay,
groups, and your quality score is based on the other ad groups and ads within that. So it's not just based on one ad group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if the competitor themselves was defending their brands, they would obviously rank higher than you within the paid ads
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, the cost per
Clearly.
click for it would be more expensive for the person who doesn't own the brand necessarily.
Yeah.
Because the relevancy and the quality score would all impact that.
Kind of comes back to your previous question then. So if you're a brand and competitors are going after bidding for your keywords and you're not bidding for them, then that's probably a good reason to bid for them from a defensive perspective, even beyond brand awareness, I guess.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What is so Google shopping ads that you
Yeah.
mentioned? Is that how many advertisers are doing that? Is that small in comparison to the other formats? Is it rising?
I think it would be massive because obviously you have the e-commerce sector that would be massively utilising the shopping.
Retail specifically, though.
Yeah. But then I think it's impacted by things such as Amazon, PPC, and advertising on Amazon. So then I think the way Google shopping ads in the past has probably changed slightly to what it is now. Yeah. Also, would anyone like us? No. I can show you about the keyword planner, like going into the platform itself, like show you where the different bits are. Would you like that? Oh no. Oh what? Sorry, this is a bit difficult this way. So, this is like where you'd have your account. So you'll be in your campaigns part, and then, so this is like where you'd set up a campaign. So then you can click this blue plus and you do new campaign, And then this is where you would select your goal. So if you do website traffic, then you can do your search. And then here you would add your main website. So let's use Gosmith for example. And then you would add that there. And then you continue. And then this is where you would set up your campaign. So you would name your campaign, you can include these or exclude them. And then you have additional settings where you'd have your start and end date. And it's always important to have an end date because you could forget later on down the line, or your budget could massively overspend. And then here's where you have your location targeting. So you have all countries, United Kingdom, or you can do advanced search where you can do a radius, or you can do London, and then it would target London. You can see that. And then this is where your languages are, and then you can also select audiences. This is a test account, so there won't be audiences in this account, but you can see detailed demographics, so parental status, marital status, their education level, if they own a home or not. And then these are people who are actively searching for a certain product or service. So you can do event tickets, food, education, computers, travel, etc. And then in how they've interacted with your audience before, that's where you'd find your remarketing and your similar audiences. And then with your audiences, you can either have them as targeting or observation. And observation means that you aren't, so targeting are people who are definitely in your audience, and observation is where Google identifies who your audience is and also identifies people who are similar to them, and they can, so you can increase your expand to new customers through that way. And then you would set your daily bid there and your bidding option, so conversions, conversion value, clicks, or you can select your manual CPC here. And then this is where you would add your site link. So, for example, this is what a site link consists of. So you'd have your main text, and then you can include a description and the link that you need to send them to. And then you have your call out extension and your calls, and you can include others through this part as well. And then you would save and continue. And then this is where you'd have your ad group, and in here you'd add all of your keywords to your campaign that you want to target. So, for example, London University. And then you can add several ad groups in here straight away rather than having to click back into the campaign again and again to add more ad groups. And then you'd save and continue. And then this is where you'd have your ad copy that you upload into the platform. And then you can see a preview of it on a mobile phone, a desktop, or a display ad. And then you would save that again, and your campaign will be set up, and then it'll be live and ready to go. That's how you set up your campaign.
So it's quite intuitive, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Google Ads interface was rebuilt fairly recently.
Yeah, it's a lot
So it needs to
easier
be
to
built nicely.
navigate and get around. And then for your keyword planner, in this top right you have your tools and your settings, and then you have keyword planner. And then you can either get search volume and forecasts of previous keywords that you've used, or you can find new keywords. And in here you can add a keyword or a URL, so we can do like leather boots, as that's their example, and we'll get results. And then here you can see all the keywords that Google thinks relates to the search term, and how many searches there are on a monthly basis. If your competition is, how high your competition is, so that's either low, medium or high. And then you have the top of the page bid and the top of the page bid high and low range. So this is the lowest bid you'd pay, and that's the highest. And then you can also add in your campaign settings that you have already planned for. So you can do locations, so if you have several locations that you're targeting, your languages, and then that gives you a more detailed overview of the keywords that you're going to be targeting for the campaign you're going to set up. And then you can just add them to plan and then download them, and then you already have them all. That's how you list your keywords. And then you can also add your negative keywords in here. So there you can just upload a list of negative keywords you already have. And then you have your audience manager, and that's where you can set up your remarketing audiences. So that can be website visitors, so if someone has been on a specific landing page of yours and you want to retarget them, or people have been on your app, or people who have viewed one of your ads before on YouTube, or liked your YouTube channel, or like as a subscriber, and then your customer list. And then you also have your custom audiences in here, and that's where you can create your custom intent audience and your custom affinity audiences. That's all there. And then you can just add those to your campaigns once you've created them. That's the platform itself. Does anyone have any questions about the platform?
Do any of you have experience working in Google Ads?
About to
Very
do
little.
the training.
Oh yeah.
The 2 weeks of training. But no, not yet.
Good. Thank you, Tamara.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's okay.
But thank you very much indeed, Tamara. That was really, really great stuff. So we'll share the presentation documents, and obviously, if you've got any questions at all, then please reach out on this or anything else. We're always happy to answer questions without expectation. Thank you very much, everyone. And feel free to take another page.
We're back here next week.
Are you here next week?
We are back here next week. I don't know who this is. All of us are back here next week.
Right. Which page did you like best then, or make sure we can have you on?
Oh, all the chocolate croissants were very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Which are all lovely.